Okay, so this is day number three of my personal challenge to reach 2000 on chess.com playing blitz. So, before I start, I must say that I imported the game that I played today to eChess.org. I kind of like the analysis tools that eChess has. Let's start. Um, let's start the game. And all right. So we started playing a Sicilian, and I played the Smith Mora Gambit, and my opponent played a sideline, did not accept the Gambit. Um, I mean, this is a pretty complex uh, variation that the my opponent played. So now, according to the database, the best thing to do here is to capture the pawn on uh, d4. Um, but I opted to develop my bishop and attack the f7 square. My opponent responded by developing again, and then I played a dubious continuation, which is queen b3. Um, it's I'm attacking the pawn on f7 with two pieces now. My opponent could, in theory, attack my queen and my bishop, but after that I can give a check. Then the opponent moves, I can move my queen again, and then I'm threatening to take the knight with my bishop. So if my opponent defends, I can take the pawn, um, give a check, and take the knight. So that's not very good for my opponent. So he responded by playing the queen. Um, now um I decided to castle, uh, just trying to develop. And my opponent played h6, which doesn't do much, to be honest. I mean, he's trying to prevent knight g5, but now that he has enough protection on the f7 square, he should attack my queen and my bishop. So instead of playing this, he could have done this, and it's pretty difficult to play here. I mean, I could take the bishop, give a check, and then after my opponent captures, I can try to attack both pieces. But mm, I'm pretty much in, I mean, black is for choice here. I mean, they have a better position, and I'm not doing so well. So, but he played h6, and then I decided to capture the pawn on d4. He captured with his knight, so I took back, and then uh, I developed my knight. So even though I'm a pawn down, I'm ahead in development, so I have compensation. Um, and opponent develops, so I move my king because I want to move my f pawn and open up the f file. So my opponent castled, and then I move my knight to d2, attacking the bishop. He retreats the bishop, and then I advance my pawn. Now I can't open the file just yet because my rook is not protected. Then he moved his pawn to a6. Here I made a mistake. I moved my bishop. I developed my bishop, threatening to capture the pawn, but he can attack my bishop on c4, and I don't have time to capture the pawn because if I do so, he can capture my bishop and attacks my queen at the same time. So it wouldn't be good for me. I would be losing a piece. Now, what I should have done instead is I should have prevented him from attacking my bishop. And that way I have time to capture the pawn on e5 and open up the file. But I made a mistake, and then he attacked my bishop, so I planted my bishop on the center. And at this point, I'm just a pawn down, and I don't have a lot of, I mean, the advantage that I had in development. And then he decides to move his rook. Uh, what my opponent should have done is capture my bishop, and he's doing pretty well here. But well, he moved the rook, and then I captured the pawn and opened up the file. Then he made a mistake. He captured the pawn, and once again, I rushed to move the piece. Failed to recognize that the queen, his queen, and the rook on b8 are aligned, so I could have attacked the queen and win a full rook, and I would be winning here. So what I did instead is attack the queen. I mean, it's not the worst move because I'm still have an advantage. I mean, I have my all my pieces aligned and ready to attack the king. And then he moved his queen, and I had several options here. I mean, I could have attacked the queen with the knight, but I considered that, but I didn't see what I mean, I didn't see an advantage for me in doing so. So I decided to move my knight to uh, g3 and keep the file open. My opponent then made a mistake, and I decided to move my rook to c1. Um, what I should have done instead is simply capture the pawn, because I have three attackers, he has two defenders. And he can't capture my bishop because he would lose a rook for a bishop, and his king would be under a lot of pressure. So, but I didn't do that. Once again, I've reacted by moving automatically and not thinking of what was I doing. So I moved my rook. He took my bishop, and then I took with the pawn. Um, According to the computer, I should have taken the pawn. Uh, Now it's very difficult to see these type of moves in blitz. We're low on time right now, so it's a very complicated position. Um, but anyhow, so I missed a tactic there. Um, And then, well, I decided to bring my rook to the open file since it wasn't doing anything. And then he developed his bishop. So that gave me time to attack his queen. And then he moved his queen back to d8. And here, there's a crazy tactic that I did not see. I did not see this. Uh, the tactic is bishop to f6, attacking the queen. And you can't really capture the bishop because if you do so, I give you check, and I'm almost mating you. I mean, I was almost mating the opponent in that case. I mean, possible continuation is move the king to h8, and then I can threaten uh, a checkmate on h7, and he would have no other option than to give his queen for the rook, and um, pretty much winning here. All the variations are in my favor here. So, and another option is would have been to move his king to uh, G7, but then I could set up a discovery, and he does. It's very difficult to defend here. I mean, the bishop is doesn't have anywhere to go. If he moves the bishop anywhere, let's say to uh, C8, I can give a double check, and I'm pretty much mating him. He has no option but to go up, and I can give him a check, and anywhere he goes, it's gonna get mated. So it doesn't matter what he does here. If he moves to h5, I can give him a check with the knight, and it's made in a few moves. So the same goes if he goes back to h7, then I give him a check, and it's made in a few moves. I mean, he can move the king to g8, but then I move my queen, and it's made on a couple of moves. You move to h8, but then I give him a check, and I'm gonna mate him on h7 with the queen. So these are some crazy tactics that I missed. So, but nope. Uh, the game continued. I actually made a mistake here and forgot that I had the pawn on d5 hanging, but I didn't have any good way of defending it either way. So I guess, but my opponent did not take the pawn, so that gave me time to defend and attack his bishop. And then here I threatened mate, but this is a one move attack that doesn't do anything. A much better option would have been to give a check, and then if he moves his king to h8, I could give him mate in two. So his best option would have been to move his king to h7, and then I can go in and I would be slightly better here because of the pressure on h7, g7. Um, but after that, uh, the game kind of simplified, and my opponent simply lost on time. So he got confused and I lost, so I was lucky. So anyhow, after this move, my rating went up to uh, I won 10 points of rating, so I was 1618, and now I'm 1628. So uh, as far as results, it's a good day, but as far as my performance, it wasn't good. But what can I do? A win is a win.